Hello, hello everyone. Sat Sri Akal, Adab, Namaskar, Shalom, every other greeting in the world for each one of our viewers watching from all over the world. Global Performing Arts welcomes you to this, our second in the series of free online programs. I would like to invite each one, whether you are having your morning coffee, afternoon tea, or snuggled in bed in India, or all the way across to Australia. We are so fortunate to have you with us. I take this opportunity to thank the team of Global Performing Arts, Simi Bhandari, who has been with us since its inception over 25 years ago. We have Meera Madan, yes, snuggled in bed in New Delhi, who has connected all of us all over the world from California, United States, Canada, Europe, India, of course, and Australia and New Zealand. I would like to thank Humaira Qureshi, our musical member, passionately interested and especially in this program too. Shakun and Suresh Dheer, our roving ambassadors, our veterans for global performing arts. Anjali Mathur, passionately interested in music. We have our youngest member, Sheena Bhasin, and Sujata Avasti. All of them are watching, listening, and waiting to get your comments and your questions. And so for today, for this program, we have Rajan Bapat. Rajan combines a world of IT and the arts. I thank him especially for the design of the announcement for this program that has gone all over the world. Thank you, Rajan. Rajan is a highly accomplished, very well read, and has an amazing depth of knowledge of music. He is himself a vocalist, and more than anything else, he is a keynote player in our program today because he is a shishya of our guest, Ramneek Singh. We also have today Uday. Uday Kamath is a mathematician. He's a chief analytics officer at Digital Reasoning. That's all completely an alien world for me. But my connection with Uday, I call him Mr. Genius because he is a runner, he's a war maker, but most of all, his passion. Not only interest, passion for music. He has several published ghazals and nazams. His knowledge of Urdu, of course, for music, and more than anything else, his humanitarianism. Uday, every mehfil in the city and helping every way to promote Indian classical music. He himself says he loves to view poetry and music through the lens of prosody and rhythm and unified by math. So, Mr. Genius, thank you so much for being here. And then we have our Manmeet Singh, his wonderful green bug. I was wondering what color it was going to be today. He is actually a corporate success guru, but his heart is in music. At the age of 8, his parents kind of forced him to learn music, but he was not quite ready. But starting from his college days, he has been totally devoted to every aspect of music, from the scholarly to the practicing. So he is our Washington, D.C.'s sarangi player. He plays the sarod, he plays the tabla, and kavali. Kavali to kya gaate hain. So he recently performed at the Kennedy Center. And we are so fortunate, so fortunate. So thank you, all of you, to be with us. Manmeet is also preparing a next generation right here in the Western world, steeped into music. So we're all set. And we have Sunila Bali, our technical director. Sunila has been immersed in music since as far as she can remember, age of 5, 6, and has her own group, Masala Beats, here in Washington. And she is our technical director, so everything is in your hands, Mr. Attorney, but completely connected to the arts. So here we are, all of us in Washington, D.C., waiting to welcome our chief guest performer for this program, Ramneek Singh. Hello from a fairly mild Washington, D.C. to a freezing, snowy Toronto. सबकी तरफ से आपको नमस्कार, सत श्री अकाल, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us, Ramneek. I'm so excited. I can't believe it was only last year in November 2019 that we had you here in our city when you gave your first performance, first public performance at the Washington Hebrew congregation. And we had this wonderful, wonderful audience that is, they're all waiting for you to come back. But for now, we have you online. All our participants were at the concert and so are familiar with your music. And we'll just wait. We're waiting to hear you talk, converse with you about your music. Ramneek was trained at the Bhatkande Music Institute. She was born in Delhi, raised in Delhi, my city too, and there are lots of Delhiites watching as well in Delhi and all over. Trained in the Indore Gharana by several legendary names, including from Ustad Amir Khan, but we're going to learn much, much more. Ramneek has performed all over the world, all over Canada, USA, India, Europe, and we wish you much more flying and soaring. But for now, we want to get to know you better. And, the world today, especially this year, has been such a rough, challenging, trying times for so many of us. There's been so much grief, loss of life, and just the uncertainty and the emotions that we all have felt in many, many different ways. And I hope many of you, like me, have felt the umbrella, the support, the therapy, and the refuge that the arts have provided us to give us healing as a therapy. And as Rabindranath Tagore said, music is the highest form of art expression. And he also says, we love to view poetry and music through the lens of prosody. Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake there. Sorry, too much confusion. So getting back to not only the world that has come to enjoy and learn and be healed through music, through the arts. And so, as Tagore says, our music draws the listener away from human joys and sorrows and takes us to that lonely region of renunciation, which lies in the root of the answer. And so, with that need for healing, that need for connecting, that need for uplifting, Ramneek, I would request you to give us an invocation, a piece of worship and hope. So, if we could start with Shabad.
Sure. Guru रखाएक हमारा स्वामी रखाएक हमारा स्वामी सगल घटा का अंतर जामी सगल घटा अंतर जामी रखाएक हमारा स्वामी उठत सुखिया बैठत सुखिया उठत सुखिया बैठत सुखिया उठत सुखिया बैठत सुखिया नहीं लागे जाए बुझिया रखाएक हमारा स्वामी सगल घटा का अंतर जामी सगल घटा अंतर जामी रखाएक हमारा स्वामी सोए अचिंता जागे अचिंता सोए अचिंता जागे अचिंता जहाँ कहाँ प्रभु तू वर्तनता तू वर्तनता घर सुख बसिया बाहर सुख आया कहो नानक गुर मंत्र दृढ़ाया मंत्र दृढ़ाया मंत्र दृढ़ाया रखाएक हमारा स्वामी रखाएक 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 हमारा स्वामी
बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत ही बढ़िया, बहुत अच्छी।
धन्यवाद.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Manjula ji, for having me here. Thank you to Global Arts, Global Performing Arts. It's wonderful to see Rajan ji, Uday ji, Manmeet ji. Thank you so much, Sunila, for all your technical support and over here in Canada. My husband, Harpreet Singh, is taking care. So I think it has been a very challenging year for all of us. But as Manjula ji rightly said, um, music and the arts have helped us to go through this year in a more peaceful and a calmer way. And it was wonderful to start with the Shabad. This Shabad actually has been written by the fifth Guru, Guru Arjan Dev Ji. And the beautiful meaning of this Shabad really goes very well to talk about this year that has been. That he says in a brief way, I'll just tell you. When a person understands that the Creator looks after him and his worries, uh, he is now at peace. So he does not have to, soy achinta, jage achinta. So he's, he may sleep without worry. He may wake up without worry because he knows his creator is there to take care of him. So I think that's what we have to be assured, that yes, we are going through difficult times, but there is someone up there who will take care of us and make us go through this peacefully, and we'll all stay safe and healthy. So once again, thank you so much for
ਨਹੀਂ
having me
ਬਹੁਤ
here.
ਬੜੀਆ ਸੈਟਿੰਗ ਹੋ ਗਈ। ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਦੋ ਸੈਟਿੰਗ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਦੀ ਸੈਟਿੰਗ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਢੋਲ ਤੇ ਭੰਗੜੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਤੇ ਸਵੇਰ ਦੀ ਸੈਟਿੰਗ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਭੈਰੋ ਪਿਪਾਸ ਪਠਿਆਰ, ਇਹੋ ਜੀ ਸੈਟਿੰਗ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ। So it was fantastic, a great start. I
Thank
really,
you.
really, very
Thank you, Ramneek.
peaceful.
Thank you so much.
Manmeet, you were going to lead us on to with conversation with Ramneek to talk about the Indore Gharana, Ustad Amir Khan, her training. So if you could just walk us down that path, Ramneek.
Ji. Um, Manjula ji, being a part of Indore Gharana has been a beautiful journey. It is still is and will always be. And well, to begin with, I just want to, tell you that it has been a very interesting journey in music. It really started when I was 6 years old, and um, it really started with learning Shabad Gurbani. My mother was very interested that being from a, coming from a Sikh family, I must really learn Shabad Gurbani, and that's how it started. And interestingly, I found, she found rather, this place called Bhatkande Sangeet Vidyapeeth, which is affiliated to the Lucknow University, Lucknow Institute out there, Bhatkande Music School. And we had one in Delhi. So I would go there just to basically, learn Shabads and bhajans. And it really started from there. And they said that, if she wants to do a good job, she has a good voice. Why don't you really give her a foundation, a strong foundation of, rags and classical music? And thereon really I started learning rags in a formal sort of a way, which is basically called visharat course, which is a 5-year course where you go through different rags in a like almost 10 to 14 rags in a year. And you do the practical aspect of music, and you learn the rags and the bandishes, and vilambit khayal and madhya khayal and whatnot. So then at the end of the year you have to sit for an exam, which is practical and a theoretical exam. So that happened, and that kind of happened around the time when I was finishing my high school. And after that, I felt the need of really learning one on one in a little bit of a more structured manner. And I did not know how to really go about it until I was told about this wonderful lady, my guru, Amarjit Kaurji, who lived not far from where I was. And they said, "Oh, she's a disciple of Ustad Amir Khan Sahib, and why don't you go and talk to her and see how, if she would, let you come and join her?" And I went with a very confident sort of demeanor that, I have 40 rags in my belt, and I would really, check with her and say, where do we start from? And but I mean, at that point, she heard me and she said, you have the rags but not the music, and that really, for a 18-year-old, was a a bit
क्या बात कही
of
उन्होंने, क्या
top
बात कही.
class
Amazing,
to understand
amazing.
what this was really, what the deeper thought behind this was. Until she really told me that put away all your books, we're going to do music which comes from your heart, not from the books.
Right.
So that was the beginning of another journey for me, and also a literally a kind of a walkthrough into Indore Gharana style and the nuances of Indore Gharana, which I'm still trying to understand, which are so intricate. But yes, that was my start to Indore Gharana, what it was. Manchla ji, you're on mute.
So,
Ji,
keeping with the Indore Gharana and the lineage, so your forte really is the khayal.
ji.
So,
Khayal is my forte for sure, and I can, as I was, I mean, I can talk a little bit about what is Indore Gharana. Um, I mean, it's not easy to really say it in very kind of a short way. So I would like to explain to a lot of people who are watching here who are conversant with Indian classical music, and even if not, I would like to give a little bit of a feel to what Indore Gharana is all about through some important points and characteristics of Indore Gharana. Um, Gee, Rajan, do you
Yeah,
have?
for some of the listeners, it might be pertinent for them to understand the concept of gharana itself.
Hmm.
So maybe a minute about this
So,
whole concept of gharana in Hindustani, and then delve into Indore gharana. Will that?
Gharana, as you can understand the word, Gharana actually means ghar, a house, right? So that is what it is. And a house that houses, like for musical terms, Gharana basically means a lineage or जिसे कहते हैं ना खानदान, you're coming from this particular खानदान, इस घराने से आते हैं आप. तो संगीत का भी घराना होता है. Music also has sort of a lineage, that this is our style that we follow, this is the gharana that we follow, this is the musical style basically that we follow, and that's what gharana really means. So when I say Indore Gharana was basically instituted or created by, it's a very new Gharana, created by my grand guru, Ustad Amir Khan Sahib, who is my guru's guru. So I would be the third generation actually, of Indore Gharana. And so a little bit of a glimpse into Indore Gharana, if I may. Um, Basically, it, the main characteristics I'd like to kind of talk about are Khan Sahib's approach to summarize the entire Gharana in one line. I would say that the entire approach to Indore Gharana is meditative, Sufiana based.
mhm.
So when I say Sufiana based, there are so many different pointers that actually take us into that journey to understand what that really means, why it is so meditative. First and foremost, Ustad Amir Khan Sahib actually learned from, he had three gurus. He learned from Ustad Rajab Ali Khan Sahib, Ustad Abdul Wahid Khan Sahib, and Aman Ali Khan Sahib. So he was influenced by all these three people, and his entire journey of music also took a lot of turns while he was going through all these different gurus. And but towards the end, when he met Ustad Abdul Wahid Khan Sahib, the last guru that he really what was influenced from a lot because of the Vilambit Khayal Gaiki that Ustad Abdul Wahid Khan Sahib, was proficient in. He felt that this is what his entire approach to music should be. At that point, when there was a lot of emphasis on tankari happening, the the jugglery happening of tankari and who can sing the fastest and who can do the loudest and fastest. Khan Sahib brought about that calmness into the gharana. He felt because he himself, this was his personality, that his entire feel to his music was always very meditative and Sufiana. He took up certain rags, which basically catered to that kind of a khayal approach, the meditative and the slow kind of a khayal approach, and the unhurried, elaborative thought process into opening up the rag. So if you take up the rag, you don't just suddenly, expose all the notes. That was not his way of going about it. If you've heard, Khan Sahib, he took his time to really, really elaborate within a rag, and that was his entire, work that he did, which was very unique. And so, taking up very, very slow bandishes, where basically it brought about the peace that not just for the singer but also for the performer. So जैसे कहते हैं ना, you wake up in the morning, would you rather have a jump start to your day or would you rather relax and have a cup of tea and then really go about your work?
You
That
you
was his
soak
entire
in
approach.
you soak in the music. Yes.
Mm.
Ramneek,
So
sorry, but we are really anxious to see how you handle. I know it's very unfair of us to have you online and expect you to do justice to a khayal, and you can explain what how difficult it is in a short time without any accompaniment. But we would love to hear, see your handling of the khayal.
Definitely. But before that, I want to just say a couple more things to lead you on to that feel,
Uh,
because that actually help when I demonstrate. So one was definitely the tempo that he took was very slow. He slowed down the tempo so again to basically take his time into creating within the rag and expanding and in an unhurried fashion. One was that. Second, because Khan Sahib was himself so much into poetry, he really laid a lot of emphasis into the poetry side, the lyric side of compositions. So he did not really delve into the Shingar Ras. His entire take was Bhakti Ras, which is what I'm going to also demonstrate why he was able to also write some of his bandishes and sing those compositions was because he totally modified the whole feel. As I would even, give an example of how our Shabad Gurbani is. Shabad Gurbani, every Shabad is based on rags. And the whole concept behind staying within a rag was that you do not go out of the boundaries of a rag. And within that, if you add the spiritual poetry to it, that entire concept becomes extremely, extremely spiritual for the person who's absorbing it. And that is what actually connected me so much to this gharana also, because that is the exact approach I had been having within my Shabad Gurbani repertoire also, and that's what I found with in the gharana. So Khan Sahib actually, a lot of his bandishes were also made by his senior disciple Pandit Amarnath ji, and he, added that flavor to it by the lyrics, by slowing down the tempo, and basically the unhurried feeling into creative. So just to give you a little feel of a couple of his bandishes which were very famous and also give you a feeling how Sufiana based these compositions were. Let me just sing something. Rag Bairagi Bhaira, a very beautiful bandish by Ustad Amir Khan Sahib. मन सुमिरत निसदन तुमरो नाम मन सुमिरत निसदन तुमरो नाम अब तुम्हारी सबा रोसगर काज मन सुमिरत निस दिन तुमरो नाम अवगुण कछु गुण नहीं मोमे अवगुण कछु गुण नहीं मोमे तुम्हारी शरण आवलियो विश्राम मन सुमेरा तनि सदिन तुमरो नाम. So this is
वाह,
बहुत अच्छे,
बहुत
बहुत अच्छे.
क्या बात है, वाह.
another one which is also very famous, and I think a lot of different gharanas also have sung this. It's in Rag Malkos.
my favorite.
ये विलंबित ख्याल की बंदिश है. तो ये should have been nicer if I could have been able to elaborate, but I want to actually give a feel of the lyrics more than, of course the tempo is also there, but in a full-fledged performance I would be able to do more justice to it.
You're
But
coming back
this
soon.
feel of Rag Malkos.
ये बात
जिनके मन राम बाके सफल होता जिनके मन राम जो मांगो सोई देत पादा रात सो गरीब नाम जिनके मन राम
क्या बात वाह
बहुत बहुत
Excellent. Maza aa gaya, maza.
बहुत.
Thank
So
you.
this was a feel of the unhurried feel, even in the khayal, the bandish को भी जब आप इतने प्यार से उसको अच्छे से expand करके गाते हैं तो इसमें you have a feeling of peace and calm. And also his choice of rags was also very specific to that kind of a feel, like the different flavors of bhairav with ahir bhairav and Bairagi Bhairav and Nat Bhairav, Malkos, Charukeshi, Abhogi and Marwa, Purya, ये सब रागों को उन्होंने जब लिया, this was his entire field. These rags actually expand a lot in them, rather than some rags which are kind of limited to his approach to this. So that was my feel to Khansa.
रमीक, आपने परवीन सुल्ताना की याद दिला दी और हमारे लिए तो आप आज की परवीन सुल्ताना हैं.
बहुत बड़ा खिताब दिया आपने, वो तो she is been one of my ideals for sure. I have loved and enjoyed her gaiki, and she's been one
Have
of
you
my
met? Have you
influences.
met her? Have you met her?
Met her, and believe it or not, वो मेरे घर में भी आई हैं और उनके चरण घर में पड़े हैं मेरे दिल्ली में, and it has been my absolute honor and pleasure to have such a wonderful.
You are blessed by her. उदय, आपके कुछ क्वेश्चंस थे तराना के बारे में जो आप पूछना चाह रहे थे?
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल। पहले तो मंजुला जी तहे दिल से शुक्रिया। ये गमगीन और उदासी हालात में आपने स्पेशली जीपीए ने खास करके ऐसे रमनीक जी जैसे मारूफ गुलकारा को, फनकारा को हमारे बीच में आज पेश करने की जो खिदमत की, बहुत शुक्रिया।
हम साथ हैं इसमें, सब साथ हैं।
हाँ, बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल। तो आपके रमनीक जी यहाँ आपके नफीस आवाज के यहाँ तो बहुत चाहने वाले हैं डीसी में। ऑलरेडी आप फेसबुक पे देख ही रहे होंगे कि किस तरह से आपको वाहवाही मिल रही है। पर एक सवाल था, आई एम नॉट अ म्यूजिशियन और नो वेरी लिटिल अबाउट इट। तो मैथमेटिकली सुना है कि लिंग्विस्टिकली, मैथमेटिकली उस्ताद आमिर खान साहब ने he did many discoveries and innovations, especially about Merukhand Paddhati, about taking the notes and singing them in a format, in a combinations and format that has now become identified as one of the things from Indore Gharana. तो इसमें आप इसकी थोड़ी तफसील करें और सबको बताएं, and what has been your take on this and how have you put a stamp on this, something on that.
देखिए जी, जो खान साहब कर चुके हैं, पहले तो it has been an innovation in its own. As I mentioned, that he took from 3 different gurus and he created his own style, right? And his entire emphasis was on slowing down the khayal gaiki rather than making it a fast movement, his entire feel. And to interestingly do that in an era where, already this was established that, the fastest tan singing, although his singing of the tans was very unique. It sounded as if it was fast, but yet there was these very interesting sort of glidings and jumps happening, which created the weight in the tankari. So even just to explain that a little bit, as you said, mathematically, अगर हम बात करें मीरू खंड जिसके बलबूते पे ये पूरा घराना खान साहब ने तैयार किया, would like to talk a little bit about that. Well, by the age of 25, he had memorized 5,040 patterns. Yeah, जिन्हें कहते हैं प्रस्तार. He had memorized, and his father was the pioneer in pushing him into this, and he was proficient in 5,040 ways of going about within the 7 notes. Um, but I think over the years he felt that even to explain to a beginner and to make other people understand how to really progress in this, he took up four four note prastars, which is basically, if I would say sare gama, suppose let's take up sare gama is 1 2 3 4, you know. So within 1 2 3 4, you are able to get 24 combinations, which is 1 2 3 4 4 3 2 1 1 3 2 4 4 2 3 1, and so on. So if you use that at saregama, then you go on to rega mapa and do the same thing, and then gama padha till you reach the sa. You actually have 168 pattern work happening. So this was his way of really going about explaining also about the Meerukand style, that if you were able to use this idea and expand even an alap as well as the tankari. Again, there were a couple of things that you had to take care of, which were rag based. The aesthetics of the rag could not be lost. In terms, suppose there are certain notes that have to be missing within a rag, so you would take care of that also. And he also mentioned that you don't have to create, don't have to use Merukan as just a mere jugglery of mathematical jugglery, and use it without taking care of the aesthetic part of things. So the aesthetics had to be kept in mind, and yet you could go about in that structured way. Now, what it really did to the entire progression within a rag was that there was a structure happening, and you knew that you could not go ahead till you were done with those 24 combinations, and then you go ahead. And that's how his entire Vilambit Khayal was Vilambit in its real form. He was able to sing for an hour and a half, just the Vilambit Khayal. और कई बार तो वो स्थाई गा के वो अंतरा भी नहीं गाते थे, कि that everything has been done within the sa to sa format, the octave. It's been done. So that was the major part that he created, and it simplified for the learners of not just for the Indore Gharana, but for the entire music world, whosoever wanted to follow the Meerukand style. So
That's a beautiful, that's a beautiful explanation. कुछ सुनाई है?
सो रमनीक, इंदौर घराने की खासियत तराना भी है ना, और मैंने आपको सुना है कितनी बारीकी से, एंड येट फ्लो के साथ जब आप गाती हैं. आई डोंट नो इफ इट्स पॉसिबल, बट वीड लव टू हियर अ फ्लेवरिंग.
जरूर. तराने की जो शक्ल आप आज इंदौर घराने में देखते हैं, वो खान साहब हैज done so much research into taranas, and that is what makes it so unique within Indore Gharana. And definitely, that is something I always talk about in every concert, because I want to explain. And as you would remember, Manchalaji, last year when I was there in Washington doing, I was there performing for the wonderful DC audience. And once again, thank you so much for having me there. It was one of the most memorable, experiences to be there, and also to have the most knowledgeable audience. That is another, such a wonderful feeling as an artist. So Tarana, definitely, as I always explain, Khan Sahib, because he was so much into, uh, you know, the lyrics were very important, as important to him as the aesthetics of the rag. So, um, and his interest in poetry took him to not just explore the classical poets of, yeah, the Sufi poets. Also, he delved into so many, his field to Guru Nanak and Vivekananda, and Paramhans, and so many other wonderful poets, and Sufi poets rather. So the Tarana, he found that it was actually created by the 13th century Sufi poet Hazrat Amir Khusro. उनकी इजाद थी ये. So when he perceived this concept of Tarana Gaiki, he actually did it for his murshid, his guru, Hazrat Nizamuddin Aulia.
Yeah.
So when his entire field to Tarana was when you really, when you see those Turkish dervishes who are revolving, rotating in that sort of a trance. So tarana is somewhat in the similar kind of concept, that you have now reached that point after extensive singing, you're at loss of words. Now you've actually, with all the meditative feel to the whole repertoire, now you've reached the end point where you're at loss of words. So Ya Allah becomes Yala, and Ya Ali becomes Yali, and Daratan is Tadim, Tanananadim. These are all meaningful words, and in Persian, in Arabic, they have a meaning that. And suppose if you take dar dar dartan darat dartan, oh God, do come and enter my body and be one with me. So the entire feel to it is, uh, in Persian, it is basically spiritual. Unfortunately, what happened was that because people could not really understand the language, they never followed the language. It is a difficult language. So over the years, the sound, the syllables that were used for tarana got distorted to table ke bol. So धूम किट तक धूम ये सब वर्ड्स लेकर वो सब शॉर्ट हो गए, और जो एक्चुअल मीनिंग था, मीनिंगफुल syllables जो थे तराने के, वो those kind of got diluted. So Khan Sahib basically went back into that research and said, no, I need to bring the authentic taranas back into my to into the music world, and make them understand that this was basically the origin. And he would add a Rubaidar Sher or the Antra from one of the Sufi saints. And that became his entire, his feel to the Tarana. And it is so beautiful, And again, the whole idea behind Tarana was not to do fast tankari or fast movement कि आप कितनी तेज चल सकते हैं तबले के साथ, how let's have a little bit of a competition with the tabla, nothing of that sort. So in an entire repertoire, the tabla was a very basic theka. The idea was just to keep the tabla going as a rhythm, not as a competition or sawal jawab, nothing of that sort. So just to give you a little bit of an example of tarana आपने कहा है, तो मैं आपको उनका एक सबसे one of the famous taranas, popular taranas,
Please.
राग दरबारी. I'll just give you a glimpse.
आज तो मेरा दिन है, मालकोस दरबारी,
आप जो फरमाइश करें
और कहिए. वाह. यार मन बिया बिया, यार मन बिया बिया, यार मन बिया बिया, यार मन बिया बिया, यार मन दर तन तदीम तन नन दीम दीम तन, यार मन बिया बिया, यार मन बिया यार.
मन बिया बिया यार मन बालपं रसीदा जानम बालपं रसीदा जानम तू भी आके मानम तू भी आके मानम पस जाके मन मानम बची कार खाया मारा यार मन बिया बिया यार मन बिया
जियो जियो, क्या बात रमनीक, मजा आ
बहुत
गया।
अच्छा,
बहुत
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 अच्छा।
बहुत
तो देखिए इसका जो मीनिंग है, जो फिलोसफिकल मीनिंग है इसमें यही है कि बालबम रसीद जानम तू बिया के जिंदा मानम पस जा के मन न मानम बची कार खाई आमद. My last breath is almost, finishing. When will you come?
है,
Will you when you come to me when I'm gone? There is no point in your being there. So that
क्या
is what the whole idea, the meaning of this is. तो ये फारसी में है. तो खान साहब की ये बहुत बहुत बड़ी हमारे लिए कंट्रीब्यूशन है.
बहुत शुक्रिया। राजन, आप बिल्कुल खामोश बैठे हैं, शिष्य हैं, इतना कुछ अभी भी सीख रहे हैं अपने गुरु से। सो प्लीज आप कुछ कहिए अपने गुरु के बारे में, उनसे कुछ पूछिए, सो दैट वी ऑल कैन लर्न।
First of all, it is such a privilege. It is such an honor to be in company of my Guruji and all of you guys. It is a beautifully arranged program, and I'm
Because you're
enjoying
part of it.
every minute of it. Okay. Before I embark into my little question, I would also like to mention that we are getting some very, very nice comments from our online viewers. And obviously, I cannot, repeat all of them, but there is one comment. I think it's representative of many, many other comments. So I have kind of saved it and just repeating it for you. It is from someone named Mr. T.K. Raghunathan. And what he has said is, while you were talking about all these things, just listening to Amir Khan Sahab conveys of Indore Gharana, meditation and contemplation.
Wow.
So, what I was trying to say is, our listeners here are also very insightful. They're very excited and so happy that something that they have been listening all their lives, Amir Khan Sahab की गायकी उनको लाइव सुनाई दे रही है. एक चमत्कार
जी बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
हम सब के लिए एक चमत्कार है. मैं आपको कहता हूं कि हम कैसेट्स पे, सीडीज पे और एलपी रिकॉर्ड्स से 70s से जो सुनते आए हैं वो हमें लाइव सुनने को मिल रहा है इन ऑल इट्स ऑथेंटिसिटी.
कोशिश है राजन जी. वो जो कर गए हैं उसका तो कोई मुकाबला नहीं है. हम लोग तो बस फॉलोअर्स हैं. We are just followers.
I just want to mention that I'm just representing the feelings of our listeners, basically. I will ask my question very quickly. I think it is fair to say that this whole cycle of, Hindustani gaiki, Hindustani classical music, the basis of it, the dharohar of it is parampara, tradition, basically.
Yeah.
Same time, we see stalwarts across the decades, across the century, coming up with something new and taking the art forward. And this whole journey has been about, tradition, innovation, and then we make progress. It's such a beautiful journey. We see that in you as well. We want to hear from you what aspect of it you have experienced it, how your gharana has inspired you for this. Thank you.
So I know, just want to add to that. Ramneek is carrying the torch bearer of the Indore Gharana. Ustad Amir Khan Toronto में है आज. आप राजन यहाँ वॉशिंगटन डीसी में सीख रहे हैं, हम सबको सिखा रहे हैं. So where there is a tradition, there is an innovation, but much more importantly, historically speaking, the preservation.
Yeah.
Passing the baton, hopefully, to another generation, but internationally. So it's not just now based in India, it is all over. Manmeet, aap kya kahenge?
जी.
I would say, KB, Gharana, in fact, Zakir Hussain said, the Gharana concept, it's now, it's not as protective as it was at one time, right?
Hmm.
Because it's merging in, right? So I think people are now even, they're far from distinguishing gharanas, right? For me, if I say, okay, what is your favorite gharana, or where Sham Churasia, where Patiala is, those are, they're very robust and Tana, or जो पहले आपने बात कही है ना in the beginning, इंदौर ठहराव लाया है. अच्छा, इतनी बारीकी में दुनिया अभी है नहीं, अभी तो उनको टप्पे या ध्रुपद ये सारी डिस्टिंग्विशिंग फैक्टर्स नहीं है. सो मैं अक्सर उनको ये कहता हूँ कि if you were stuck on an island and you said, okay, I'm going to listen Bollywood music, how many days will you be able to do that? How many days will you be able to listen to Qawwali? How many days will you be able to listen Tarana every day? And then you
Yeah.
compare that to Alap and Therav Lane Wala Sangeet. And believe me, the way your human ears and आपकी जो तासीर है, रूहानी तासीर, सुनने
जी.
की तासीर, वो अलाप के जरिए ही आपको सुकून आएगा. सो
Yeah.
जो इनोवेशन
Well,
उस
it's
एरिया में
well said.
आया है, हाँ, उसका डेफिनेटली वजन है. और जो नॉविस है वो कहेगा यार ये मतलब जो यार ये क्या क्लासिकल लगाया, दैट्स फाइन, इट टेक्स अ
Yeah.
व्हाइल, हमें भी लगा शुरू वहां से नहीं हुआ, बट उसकी अहमियत नहीं कम हो जाती जब उनकी मेच्योरिटी. उस्ताद आमिर खान आपके पास नहीं आएंगे, आपको जाना पड़ेगा आमिर खान के पास जब आपकी रूह उस तरीके से तैयार हो जाए कि यार अब थोड़ा कुछ डीपर सुनने को मिले, or fit, then you will be ready. So I think, Ramneek, I think you are so important. One, because you connect us with the past. One, you're gifted voice to voice. I've always told you that. It has that robust midsection voice. That's Harpreet doesn't like Lata Mangeshkar. She's like, it was for the longest time that eerie voice. She like that reminded her of an era. But then, so your wholesome voice really is ideal for this kind of singing. When you sing those tons and gamaks, they're so clean, and there's the weightage, they don't thin out. The
Yes.
weightage is so beautifully just going back and forth. It's fearless. So I just love it. And so yeah, yeah, we're fortunate to be friends. And Manjula, also I'm so, because there's a revolution happening, there's a financial crisis happening, there are politics happening in all of this chaos. You are the sort of the thumb kelo, the little, the foundational pillar that's saying, okay, we need to take time out for our families, we need to take time out for our whatever, but we have to have music because that's the antidote to all of this jo dimag kharab ho raha hai. So
Very true.
great opportunity.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, this thing cannot be done alone. Ramni can't lock herself in one room. And yes, she can do her riyaz, but even then, she would love to imagine an audience. All of you on the screen here, everybody watching, viewing, listening, enjoying. Music is the most social art,
Yeah.
It just brings the warmth, as even though we're only on screen, I'm getting these warm vibes
Yeah.
that bring us together, connect. And as Manmeet very rightly said, look at the climate we are living in, isolation, lockdown, but this has kept us alive. Even if you listen to music in your own time, in your own home, but this is something else. And as far as Ramneek's voice, the bold, the beautiful, bountiful, golden voice, and so suited to the classical, and I mean, for every everything. And Manmeet, getting back to, yes, GPA has served audiences on the stage mostly for the last over 25 years.
Yeah.
But there is a reality to it. We do need financial support. And I'm constantly, that's the part I don't enjoy, asking people. Sometimes I feel I'm taking a begging bowl around to make this a reality. As Manmeet also said, I was talking to Vidya, they also have to keep their sort of unknown, the accompanists, the tabla players, the sarangi players all over India, in fact, all over the world also, who just need sustenance. And my appeal is to, there must be lots of billionaires, millionaires, trillionaires. For them, it's just a tiny drop to keep the arts alive. Enough of that. So we'll go to Ramneek, of course, the Indore Gharana, the Khayal, but you have such an amazing repertoire. So what are some of the other genres that you do include in your performances?
So, thank you so much, for your wonderful input, because I think what all you said is so true, that in these very difficult times, which we never could imagine, that something like this would actually, we would go through something like this in our lifetime, has happened. And coming back to what Rajanji also, asked in terms of tradition and innovation, I feel that this is one thing. I think every musician has had to come out of his shell. Apne jo kaha Manjula ji, that we cannot be sitting in a room and just, doing our own riyas. As musicians, as performers, we have to share. We have to. I mean, this is our way of, understanding where we are and what we are doing. And once we are sharing, and we get that input from others, in terms of, may it be guru shishya parampara, or from a student, or from a listener, or an audience, you are you want to push yourself again to the limits and say, abhi aur baki hai, abhi aur karna hai,
थोड़ा सा
idhar
और.
abhi aur aage hai. Because every year, as a performer, I feel that I don't want to listen to my past year's performance. So, if the work is going on, you feel that there is more to do, there's more to achieve, there's more to, but yet, as a performer, you need audience. And I'm so glad that this entire year has gone by with so many online performances, and I feel that um, it has really taught me that, you know um, I mean, not just performing, but also listening to a lot of other people too. I've been able to watch such wonderful webinars and seminars and whatnot, and it's been wonderful. So I feel, yes, traditionalism and innovation, one has to get out of that feel ke you are, yes, tradition, I'm keeping my tradition. Mm, I take that meditative approach and I apply it in so many different ways. Like, to give you an example, I mean, this is not something that, again, I would just say that this is the only way I'm using it. But an interesting take on what I did, a couple of months back with my daughter, actually. She plays the guitar, and she also learned classical music. And so, to be able to, as we say in our Indian music, we have melody and rhythm, but no harmony. Well, she's also proficient in Western music, so she brought about that kind of a harmonic touch to a bhajan that I had composed in Rag Bhupeshwari.
Lovely.
So, usne, she harmonized, and she basically brought a different feel to it. So the bass is there, the
Mhm.
base is there for the music, but how you can apply it and use it in different ways, you are able to. When I actually, what Manmeet said, I really found it very interesting also, because I think I've seen that same interview of Ustad Zakir Hussain, where he says that the borders of gharanas are now sort of diluted. He himself cannot call himself from a particular gharana that his father used to call himself from, because he feels that he's taken from so many other gharanas. Because of internet, because of YouTube, people are now getting glimpses of different gharanas, and they're able to use it well if they are proficient enough to actually add that to their repertoire. So yes, if I like a bandish of a certain singer from a different gharana, I would love to add that to my repertoire. So definitely keeping the purity of my own gharana, yet I would like to, I have done many different kinds of applications of this meditative thought process into so many of my own compositions that I do. And this I mean that disciplined sort of Mirukhan approach to my music has taught me how to be able to create that sort of calmness in what I do in the singing. May it be anything, it can be Sufiana, it can be bhajan, it can be ठुमरी or whatever. कोशिश यही रहती है मेरी कि उसमें एक शांत जो होना चाहिए उसमें एक feel. And as you were mentioning about the voice, this this gharana has taught me the avromukhi vocalism, which is basically delving into the lower octave to practice. And believe it or not, your voice gets developed into that thought process, in that feel, that texture, that timbre gets better when you really work with this avromukhi vocalism, and the lower notes, that you do the riyas of the lower notes, that helps you. And sharing an anecdote, I think I have shared it with Rajanji once, that my teacher would say, आप इस तरह बात करिए, आप ऐसे आवाज को नीचे करके लोअर में बात करिए.
Lower.
And हाँ, so I would like, as a 19-year-old, I would be so excited to tell her, नीचे अपनी आवाज को धीमे करके बात करिए. So I would actually do that, and I would find it a little funny. But then I got used to the idea, and then even at home, this became like a part of my riyas. कि आप अपनी आवाज को नीचे बात करिए. एंड या तो वो आपको जब आदत पड़ जाती तो सा नी धा नी सा, तो उसको किस तरह से अप्रोच करना है लोअर नोट्स को, वो उसकी शुरुआत यहाँ से होती है. सो यू ग्रूम योर सेल्फ to that thought process, just like you groom yourself to why you want to do yoga every single day. Being a yoga person who Manjula ji has seen, I cannot do without, every day has to be a start with my yoga, is that you have to first train your mind that you're ready to take that journey. Because this journey is not going to show you any destinations, it is the journey that you will be enjoying. So if you're ready to do that, then you are ready to be a part of this whole
This
system.
is profound, profound thinking, really. Yoga and music. But I'm going to bring you back to the other genres in your repertoire. ठुमरी के बारे में कुछ बताइए. Then folk, you do a lot of folk too.
Yeah, I actually, again, I feel that, what my teacher used to tell me was, हाँ साहब एक बात कहते थे कि आप मुझे फॉलो करिए, मुझे कॉपी मत करिए. आप मेरी अप्रोच को फॉलो करिए. Don't copy me as, don't clone me. Don't sing who, like, this is exactly how I sing and then you sing just the way. No, you take the approach. And I feel every, and check yourself, because every musician is different, every singer is different, his voice is different, his journey, the people who have influenced him through his journey of music, it has been a different kind of a entire journey. So everybody is different, and I felt that within myself a little. I mean, later, or rather, I used to listen to ghazals. I used to listen to Mehdi Hassan Saab. I used to listen to even Jagjit Singh and Lata ji, Asha, Rafi ji, Manna Dey. All these people I've heard. I have loved some of their compositions here and there, and I've sung them. So मुझे हर चीज को गाने की खुशी होती है. And I feel as a human being, as I have these emotions that I need to explore. And possibly through one or two genres, I'm not able to do justice to those navras that we all have. And also, whenever I'm performing, I always feel that this is exactly what I say, that I'm not, my theme that I'm taking for any repertoire is emotions. So my take on my approach to emotions will be to take you through a journey of rags for sure, but also through different genres. So I felt that Tumri did that for me for so many reasons. I felt that now applying the feel of variations in Tumri, because Tumri is a very difficult art. It's not an easy thing to do. Tumri has its own, it's a genre that you cannot do without having learned rags, because you are not staying within a certain fence
Mhm.
of one rag. You are delving into so many different rags and then coming back to that one particular base that you started. Just like jazz. Jazz is like that. That you
Mhm.
take up a tune and you flow into so many other tunes and then you come back to that. So Tumri gave me that kind of feel and a flight, so to say. And Shabad Gurbani, of course, again, as I said, I was very close to Shabad Gurbani from the beginning, which was my start to my music. And Khan Sahib's Gaiki actually helped me go through that. Folk music, again, believe it or not, I tried to learn Urdu because कहीं मुझे लगता था कि ऐसा I will sing ghazals or something to do with it. But of course, Khan Sufyana feel to his music made me get closer to Amir Khusro and so many other classical poets. So yeah, तो coming back to ठुमरी, आपने ठुमरी की फरमाइश करी तो मैं आपको एक छोटी सी glimpse ठुमरी की देती हूँ.
See, हमारे प्रोग्राम का टाइटल है मौसीकी और मेरे जज्बात.
जी बिल्कुल.
For me, just as a peripheral remark, Tumri really allows you to delve into emotions, right? Of, and
बिल्कुल.
you can keep like an ornament and keep embroidering, and which makes Tumri, to me anyway, a very
बिल्कुल, और यही यही इसका मकसद है. Words are always very simple in Thumri, and the idea is not really well, just like in ghazal, you take up specific words within the ghazal, and the whole idea is to really try and rotate around that word to make you understand the meaning of that word. So here it is to delve into the emotion of that particular line that has been said, like कौन गली गयो शाम. अगर हम लेते हैं तो उसमें, so the lady is asking कौन, well, Radha, so to say, Radha is asking कौन गली गयो शाम,
wow,
एक सखी बता दे रे. तो अगर
wow.
ये है तो अम, वो पूछ रही है, कितने कितने तरीकों से पूछ रही हैं वो. कौन गली गयो शाम बता दे. कौन गली गयो शाम बता दे. कौन गली गयो शाम. कौन कौन गली गयो शाम. गली गयो शाम. कौन गली गयो शाम. कौन गली गयो शाम. गली गयो शाम गली गयो शाम कौन गली गयो शाम कौन गली गयो शाम बता दे कौन गली गयो शाम।
बहुत खूब रमनीक जी, बहुत
क्या
अच्छा, बहुत
कौन सी गली पहुंचा दिया आपने हमें।
बहुत खूब।
जी बहुत शुक्रिया, थैंक यू।
So, all our Uday, Rajan, Manmeet, do you have any questions? Otherwise, I could go on all day.
I think we are all enjoying the beautiful flow here. It's all happening naturally and like beautiful singing, Ramneek ji, and
Thank you.
great insights from you, Manjula ji, asking these interesting questions. So we'll listen and have Ramneek ji present as usual.
As we,
There's
so,
one thing I would like to actually, if you, I forgot to add about Khan Sahib also, and it'll be nice to actually demonstrate that. Khan Sahib actually added some rags from the Carnatic style.
Mhm.
So that was something, he basically took some rags like चारुकेशी, जनसम मोहिनी, कलावती, ये सब राग उन्होंने वहाँ से लिए और he made his own compositions and that was another very very beautiful thing he did and आप अगर चाहें तो आपको एक छोटा सा उसका भी नमूना मैं दे सकती
बहुत 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 बढ़िया होगा, वो सुनाएंगे बहुत।
So lot of people actually have heard of the rag Kalavati, but not so many about have heard rag Jansam Mohini. So just to give you a little, kind of a difference between Kalavati and Jansam Mohini, first, Khan Sahib used to sing both, and both his, bandishes of Kalavati and Jansam Mohini are so beautiful and very very famous. So I'll just give you a little glimpse of that. पहले कलावती सागा पदनी दाय नी सा सानी दा गाबदनी दा ग सा नी सा नी दा नी सा गा ग सा अनुमानी पिया सो रहत है अनुमानी पिया सो रहत है काहे सलोनी नारी अनुमानी पिया सो मन रंग तोरी मनुहार करत है मन रंग तोरी मनुहार करत है मनत नाहित करत हनुमान निपिया सो रहत है। यह है राग कलावती।
क्या बात।
बहुत अच्छे,
जन
बहुत अच्छे,
सम्मोहनी,
दिल खुश।
बहुत शुक्रिया। जन
वाह।
सम्मोहनी, थैंक यू। इसमें आप कलावती में अगर आप अवरों में रे ऐड कर दें तो ये जन सम्मोहिनी हो जाता है। एज सिंपल एज दैट। बट देखिए इसकी तासीर थोड़ी सी हो जाती है। सागा पदनी सा सा नि दा प ग प ग रे ग प नि दा प ग रे ग नि दा प ग दा प ग रे नि द सा
बहुत अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा।
Wow, wow, wow.
कौन जतन सो पिया को बनाऊं कौन जतन सो पिया को मनाऊं मोरा पिया मोसो रूसो रयो कौन जतन सो पिया को मनाऊं नावे ना पतिया पछावे कब लग ये दुख पावे कौन जतन सो पिया को मनाऊं
वाह, मजा आ गया, मजा आ
बहुत
गया।
शुक्रिया
Quantity.
ये अच्छा है, हमें इंस्ट्रक्शन दी गई है, बहुत अच्छे बाद में कहना, नहीं तो बहुत अच्छे करते रहते थ्रू आउट द सिंगिंग। क्या बात। वो बोला बीच में
देखिए
इंटरप्ट नहीं करना, पहले डांट पड़ चुकी
थैंक यू
है।
सो मच नहीं वो
नहीं,
तो
क्योंकि आपने
ऑडियंस
थोड़ा सा ये थोड़ी सी वो चुटकी सी जो इंफॉर्मेशन आ जाती है ना, उससे जो भी स्टूडेंट्स वगैरह होते हैं, संगीतकार होते हैं, आपने बोला इसमें अगर रे लगा दे, इतना सा जो
जी
आपने दान किया है ज्ञान का, उसके साथ अब बापत साहब तो जाके अभी इस इंटरव्यू के साथ तानपुरा शुरू कर देगा और रियाज शुरू कर देंगे नए राग का। सो वो
आई होप
इंस्पिरेशन मिलती है ना,
इंस्पायर
हर एक राग का कोई ना कोई, ये क्रेडिट आपको जाता है, ये विस्तार में आपने बता दिया राग। सो बहुत अच्छा,
बहुत
लव्ड इट।
शुक्रिया थैंक आई मीन जो इतने से कम टाइम में वट एवर आई कैन remember and mention about the different things my whole idea is to educate and hopefully I can share whatever I have with me whatever this journey has been of the खान साहब गायकी और अपनी भी जो मेरी अपनी एक जर्नी रही है तो
वो
जी
जोक होता था ना, आप बस स्थाई देते चलो, अंतरे हम अपने आप लगा लेंगे। So, देते चलो स्थाई।
वही तो मुश्किल काम है स्थाई तो
Yeah.
शुरू करने की बात है
तभी तो कह रहा हूँ।
Ramneek, you mentioned Rag Charukeshi.
हाँ अच्छा जरूर चारुकेशी में आपको अगर आप पसंद करें तो मैं अपनी एक बंदिश है जो मैंने खुद लिखी और कंपोज करी है तो
सुनाइए।
आप मेंशन कर रहे थे मंजला जी सो मैं आपको एक पेश करती हूँ थोड़ा सा
हम्म।
बहुत ही खूबसूरत राग है ये भी इट्स कमिंग फ्रॉम कर्नाटक एंड आई थिंक चारुकेशी हैज रियली people really sing this rag so much क्योंकि इसमें एक भक्ति भाव भी है एक पेथोस है और एक इसमें it really expresses so many different emotions at one time so I just find it so relieving every rag has its own relieving factor and charukeshi I go to very often for many reasons so इसमें जो एक मेरी बंदिश जो मैंने लिखी उसकी वर्ड्स आपको मैं सुनाती हूँ पहले जोगन जोग धरे संसार में साईं के चरणन साईं के नाम में भोग विलास सकल सब छूटे साईं के चरणन साईं के नाम में
वाह,
तो ये भी खान साहब की जो अप्रोच है मेडिटेटिव उसी से जिसे कहते हैं इट्स बीन इंस्पायर्ड बाय दैट सो
पिचू
जोगन जोग धरे संसार में, जोगन जोग धरे संसार में, जोगन जोग धरे संसार में, साईं के चरणन साईं के नाम में, साईं के चरणन साईं के नाम में, जोगन जोग धरे संसार में, जोगन जोग धरे संसार में, जोगन जोग धरे संसार में, भोग विलास सकल सब छूटे, भोग विलास सकल सब छूटे, सब छूटे, भोग विलास सकल सब छूटे, साईं के चरणन साईं के नाम में, साईं के चरणन साईं के नाम में, साईं के चरणन साईं के नाम में, जोगन जोग धरे संसार में, जोगन जोग धरे संसार में।
क्या बात रमनीक.
Thank you so much.
You know, I don't even want to look at the clock, but time does not wait for anybody. And we all could be here for days. Sara din sari raat ke subha ke raag sunte sunte. But we are so full of more questions also, Ramneek.
जी.
So now, you know, lived and trained in Delhi. You now live in Toronto. You've performed all over the world. I ask myself, and we discuss it at my colleagues at the Smithsonian, what is it about Indian classical music that listeners, without understanding the language, without the in depth knowledge of the rag and the gharana, but they are being drawn to our music and they can all listen. My Italian friend came and listened to your concert and absolutely loved it because his Indian friend sitting next door was telling him about the lyrics.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel as a performer when you're reaching? I saw your program at the Alabama Music of Art.
Mhm.
And so we're opening up, you know, I've done lots of programs at the Smithsonian for Indian classical music. So, what is it that you're able to convey as a performer to reach those audiences, the international, non Indian, non linguist audiences?
I think, yeah, rightly so. We're blessed with our Indian classical music as a, we are able to reach out to other people of all language and faiths and everything because of the structure of the rag. I feel the rag is the main reaching factor, and the peacefulness through that rag, when you stay within the rag for a long time, you're able to connect with people because it takes time for everybody to bring that concentration into what you're doing. And my take is always to explain what I'm doing. I've been living in North America for the past 25 years, and I feel audiences all sorts of audiences come for my performances, and I feel that the best way to at least get them to get a glimpse of what I'm doing is to first explain a little bit briefly about maybe what a khayal is, what to expect, and the meaning of the lyrics that are going to be sung, so that they get a little bit of an idea, and then ask them to just enjoy the journey. without thinking too much, just concentrating on the sound of what is happening. So I feel that is a drawing factor for many audiences. And if, even if they don't understand the words, it is really the sound that kind of brings them into a trance, I feel.
Expression.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Anyone else have to add to that? Rajan, Manmeet, Uday, how we are cultivating audiences around the world for Indian classical music. Any?
Yeah, see, yeah, for me, I think you are right, Ramneek. There is this bhaktiness that is associated with this, and this is not music that people were either high on ganja or whiskey or whatever, and then they because those compositions are more contemporary. These are rishi munis who, for years, did tap
Yeah,
and tapasya, and they found in the depths of that soul that the essence of the human suffering and all of that. From there came these notes that heal them. So when we say nad yoga,
yeah.
or even if you do any mantra recitation, hari om kar lo, for
Mhm,
example, if
mhm.
you do hari om में भी अगर निकास सही तरीके का नहीं है, उसका
Yeah,
इफेक्ट नहीं है, वो ओम में वो जो sustenance चाहिए. So
Yes.
this is a discovery from the depths of their own experiences. That's out of this world.
yeah,
So, and that's why I think when this happened for generation after generation after generation, millennials ago, so those discoveries have come back. Simple thing, even when I moved to this country, I would go to Barnes and Nobles or Border Books, and I would never find anything about Lata Mangeshkar, but I would always find Ravi Shankar and some of the old classical ustad. So it always intrigued me because the classics have always been there. It is food for your musical soul.
yeah.
So that's why.
See, that's why I don't believe when some people will say, "Oh, gee, classical music, आजकल कौन समझता है, कौन सुनता है?" That's not right. I think Indian classical music is doing very well.
Yeah,
Look how many people are not only practitioners, but listeners are increasing all over the world. So we all feel very, very good about
very true.
the spread, the fragrance. And of course, it's thanks to all of you, Ramneek and Rajan, आगे चढ़ा रहे हैं. उदय हमें सुनाते रहेंगे, मनमीत सारंगी भी सुनाएंगे. अभी कैनेडी सेंटर में परफॉर्म किया था इन्हें कुछ पिछले साल. और अभी
Awesome.
फिर, so while we were talking about this music and also how other art forms abroad. So while Ramnik was singing, I am dreaming of a program I'd like to do perhaps at the Smithsonian with Ragamala paintings and, bringing out the rasa. The rasa that we have in our music is
Many of paintings, Manjula ji, are very
unparalleled.
connected to rags.
Yeah,
Rags are
yeah.
बहुत connected हैं.
Right, unparalleled.
Mhm.
So as I'm so sorry, so feeling bad, about to close. Any of you have any questions? And then otherwise, I'll do my last.
Just want to say thank you
Okay.
for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you, and it was amazing listening and you giving not only the explanation by demonstrating it in your own way. That's amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for the
I will,
wonderful questions.
I will say the same.
So, as I said, we can go on and on. Ramneek from Delhi to Canada, but performing all over. Yoga in the morning. She is an ace photographer and shares photography, has studied interior design. Ramneek has her own school, preparing a next generation, teaching Rajan online, maybe other students online as well. Ramneek has several CDs that are available anywhere. But as I see this very rounded, devoted wife, mother, how do you see yourself in the mirror?
Just a creative person. That's all. Not even a musician, just a creative person who is craving to create every single day.
How wonderful.
I cannot think of life without creation. And I feel inspired by nature. I go for my walks, I listen to the birds, I look at the waves,
Huh?
I enjoy. I feel that, you can learn from so much, so many people, even little kids playing, the innocence, the sanctity that is, there with so much around us that we kind of overlook. And I just get ideas from, as you said, Manjulaji, arts, theater, painting, literature, everything inspires me. um, I feel a person cannot stop creating. If the day he stops creating is the end of whatever art he is in, so for me, I look at myself in the mirror and I say, that actually keeps me very enthusiastic with life. I feel it is really the journey of life that you have to enjoy rather than reaching a certain mark or landmark or nothing of that sort. I feel it's really to enjoy every single day as we get it. And I think in such difficult times we have understood that very well, that the simplest of things of life are of more importance than anything else. So कम से गुजारा जिसे कहते हैं ना, वो हमने करना सीखा है. And I think hopefully this will go on long for us, and we'll all learn that we really don't need a lot in life, but yeah, keep that childlike enthusiasm for life going always. And that's what I feel. I always I,
That's what makes a composite artist and a great musician. And we all love you for that. You have to promise that you will come in person next year, is looking good. And I would just like to add at this platform, GPA is producing various online programs. Our next one will be on film, and then we have another one on music with Vidya Shah from Delhi, and we'll continue. And but I would like to please request, help us financially, help us stay connected with us. You can give a donation on the Facebook and help us continue and on this path and be able to produce these programs. I wish I could give warm hugs to the entire team. This has been such rewarding, uplifting, interesting, stimulating afternoon.
all
And
right,
thank you,
Sunil.
Rajan. Thank you, Uday, Manmeet Singh, and all of us give you, Ramneek, a big hug.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
thank you, Sunila. I think she's hiding
Thank you,
somewhere.
Sunil.
Yeah, thank you. You did an amazing job behind the
I
curtain.
would,
Yeah,
I would also mention
yeah. Thank you,
Harpreet ji.
Harpreet ji.
Without him, I could not have,
Har-
done this.
Harpreet doesn't have to hide anymore. I wish he could come
He's,
also.
he's hiding.
Exciting. One day he'll be with us.
Yes.
Thank you all so much. Stay safe, and we hope for better days.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And I hope, I wish everybody very well. And thank you so much once again, Manjula ji and to GPA, for having me here with such wonderful, people asking such wonderful questions. My good friends here. DC is definitely is my second home, as you know, and I'm definitely
Oh,
coming. As
hey,
soon as the borders open, the first person you'll see is me.
you'll be here. And so we look forward to more, and thank you enormously,
Thank
immensely.
you so much. My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, Devi.